You wake up this morning and there's a 200-page document that we can't seem to get that says that there should be a restriction on AI chips for all but 18 countries. You've got the premier CEO of AI, Jensen Huang, going around the world talking about sovereign AI. And then you have a document, again, it's a proposal, that just basically says, look, there's only 18 countries that should be able to get this. That's going to send the whole complex down. It is absurd in the sense that no one spoke to it. They didn't give it to any CEO to even comment on. It is the last gasp of an administration that basically threw a grenade into the whole complex.
Yeah, although very much unclear, isn't it, Jim, that a lot of it won't be reversed potentially under the new administration or different.
I suspect all of it will be.
Yeah, although it is potentially tough on China. I mean, a lot of it is designed, obviously, around our defense, so to speak, in the larger context, given the threats that AI could pose in the wrong hands and the fact that we always want to be ahead in our development from many of our adversaries. I think that is right. That's at the basics of why they've done what they've done, isn't it?
Yes, but 18 friendly countries, let's say there are 120 countries that might want it. That means there's a lot of countries besides China that now get excluded. You'll see this down a lot. The stock has been very weak. I think Nvidia is terrific. But you combine this, and then, Carl, you've got some numbers that say that Apple's going to be weak.
For many years, American power and influence around the world have been based on its leadership in the software and computer ecosystems. The federal government has prudently avoided controlling the development, promotion, and distribution of popular computers and software, which are important sources of innovation and economic expansion. By creating an atmosphere where American business could compete and prevail on the basis of merit without jeopardizing national security, the first Trump administration set the groundwork for America's present dominance and success in AI. Because of this, mainstream AI is now a crucial component of all new applications, fostering economic expansion, advancing American interests, and guaranteeing American leadership in cutting-edge technology. In order to improve healthcare, agriculture, manufacturing, education, and a host of other areas, businesses, startups, and academic institutions worldwide are now utilizing mainstream AI. This is boosting economic growth and releasing the potential of entire countries. The global adoption of AI, which is based on American technology, stimulates growth and opportunity for both domestic and foreign enterprises. That development on a global scale is now at risk. With its historic and stupid AI diffusion regulation, the Biden administration is now attempting to limit access to commonplace computer applications, endangering global economic growth and innovation. So what implications does this have for Nvidia's stock? Let's explore that. But first, a big thank you to those of you who've stuck with us this far. Creating these videos takes significant effort and dedication. So if you're enjoying the content, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and share your thoughts on Nvidia stock in the comments. Your support truly helps us grow. Now, let's get back to the video.
News on Nvidia. The European Union commenting on the Biden administration's further restriction of AI chip exports, news that hit Nvidia shares in the regular session and that Nvidia itself blasted earlier today. The EU saying in a joint statement, in part, "We are concerned about the U.S. measures," adding, "We believe it is also in the U.S. economic and security interest that the EU buys advanced AI chips from the U.S. without limitations." The statement adds that the EU has shared its concerns with the Biden administration and looks forward to engaging constructively with the incoming Trump administration.
Worse, the U.S. government chose to meddle in the semiconductor world in a way that defeats so much of what Jensen Huang, the CEO of Nvidia, is trying to accomplish. A series of restrictions came out this weekend that put limits on the number of GPUs Nvidia can sell to all but 18 friendly nations. Look, we all get the game. We're trying to stop China from getting as many advanced chips as possible. I admit that. That's okay. But this 200-page set of rules has become the hallmark of the Biden administration's attempt to treat our businesses as the enemy. NVIDIA is cooperating with the federal government every step of the way. Jensen Huang has spent a huge amount of time going around the globe, though, trying to work with all of the friendly governments, not just 18, to help them create sovereign AI. He knows that America could control everything. That's how powerful we are. But he wants to empower other nations so they don't get subsumed by us. He doesn't want to be the ugly American who dictates the things the way we did during the Cold War. It's one of the best initiatives he's worked on, and now the government's effectively ended it by fiat. Look, you know that I'm no fan of the Chinese government, but the U.S. needs friends. Long as the ultimate ambassador of goodwill, This move is embarrassing, short-sighted, demeaning, and ultimately a fitting coda to administration that seems to have it in for business at every turn, unless it's clean energy, of course.
With a 200-plus page regulatory jumble that was secretly created without any legislative review, the Biden administration is attempting to weaken America's leadership in its final days in power. The creation and international marketing of America's top semiconductors, computers, systems, and even software would be subject to bureaucratic oversight under this broad overreach. Additionally, the Biden administration's new rule threatens to waste America's hard-earned technological advantage by trying to manipulate market outcomes and discourage competition, which is essential to innovation. Under the pretense of being anti-China, these regulations would not improve U.S. security. The proposed regulations would regulate technology globally, including that which is currently freely accessible in consumer electronics and popular gaming PCs. The proposed Biden regulations would undermine the innovation that has put the United States ahead of the competition and erode America's global competitiveness rather than lessen any threat. The rule is already hurting American interests, even though it won't be in effect for another 120 days. America succeeds through innovation, competitiveness, and sharing our innovations with the world, not by hiding behind a wall of government overreach, as the first Trump administration showed. We anticipate a return to policies that maintain our competitive advantage in AI and beyond, support our economy, and enhance American leadership. To stay informed about the latest developments from Nvidia and the ever-changing stock market, consider subscribing to our investing tutorial channel. We provide daily updates on significant market shifts and key catalysts, so hit that subscribe button to ensure you never miss crucial information. We'd love to hear your thoughts on Nvidia stock, so please share your opinions in the comments below. Now let's dive into today's video.
Outside of the USA, it's been better if you didn't take an industry bet, and it's been better if you didn't short a ton of Nvidia. So if value holds its own when it's not having a great time and everything else we do works, that can be a beautiful thing.
Does Nvidia enter your portfolio at all in the quant process?
It enters as a potential stock to own or short, and this will give you some insight into quantitative management. I don't know if we're long or short.
Right, because there's just so many positions at all times.
So many positions that are all small. So I often joke, though this hardly ever happens, that the only time I know about an individual position is either something very bad has happened.
Or very good.
No, they don't even bother me with that. Or I'm going on TV, and sometimes I cheat and look up. But I didn't look up in NVIDIA. I would guess it looks expensive, but looks pretty high quality.
53 times earnings or so.
Yeah. But that's not the whole process. For instance, profitability, how much money you make, given the size of your equity or some other scalar that you can make it relevant. We love that. In true bubbles, people often hate low prices and don't care about profitability because they're only paying for dreams of future profitability. So we don't enjoy those. But a year where the really cheap multiple stuff doesn't do well, but really profitable stuff does great, that can be a great year for us.
Not necessarily.
The Biden administration's revised export regulation, which aims to restrict the supply of AI chips to enemies like China, caused Nvidia's shares to drop by almost 2% on Monday. According to the White House, the rule would limit the quantity of AI chips known as GPUs, graphics processing units, that most nations can purchase without a special license. The export cap would not apply to orders of 1,700 GPUs or less. The White House stated in a statement on Monday that artificial intelligence is rapidly taking center stage in terms of both economic power and security. To spearhead this shift, the U.S. must take bold action to make sure that American technology supports AI use worldwide, and that enemies find it difficult to misuse cutting-edge AI. 24 nations that are subject to arms controls, including China, North Korea, and Russia, still risk an outright ban on receiving exports of the newest AI chips. But 18 important U.S. allies, including the UK, Netherlands, and Taiwan, will not be subject to any limits on AI chip shipments. The revised limits are significant primarily because they place a cap on the total amount of compute capability in a particular group of AI chips that can be supplied to the rest of the globe. The law allowed U.S. companies to export AI chips to those nations with a total compute capability of 790 transistors per square millimeter, or transistor density, which is the number of microscopic electrical components on a specific semiconductor. According to Stacy Rasgon, an analyst at Bernstein, that amounts to about 20,000 of its most recent Blackwell chips, or 50,000 Nvidia Hopper chips. Switzerland, Israel, and other U.S. allies are among the nations covered by this cap. For comparison, it has been stated that in 2024, Microsoft alone bought 485,000 Hopper GPUs from Nvidia, while Meta bought 224,000 of the AI chips. By preventing smuggling and improving AI security requirements, the rule seeks to eliminate gaps in previous export limitations on AI chips in 2022 and 2023, according to the White House. Gil Luria, an analyst at D.A. Davidson, told Yahoo Finance via email on Monday that these limitations will make it even harder for Chinese companies to buy the newest Nvidia processors. Although there have already been some limitations on chip sales, Luria clarified in an earlier email last week that there have been reports of cutting-edge Nvidia chips reaching China. This is probably because Nvidia has little control over its resellers. Nvidia produces particular chips that adhere to the existing U.S. trade restrictions on China, in addition to its cutting-edge chips that are offered through resellers. The controls should not impact sales of Nvidia's H20 processors, which are its Hopper chips for China, Razgon noted in the note. In a statement released on Monday, Ned Finkel, Vice President of Government Affairs at Nvidia, claimed that the rule was written behind closed doors without enough parliamentary review. Additionally, he claimed that the Biden administration's new rule threatens to waste America's hard-won technological advantage by trying to manipulate market results and discourage competition, which is essential to innovation. In order to give the Trump administration time to amend the regulation, which is scheduled to take effect in a year, businesses have a longer than normal 120-day window to comment on the limitations, according to Bloomberg. An apparent appeal to the incoming administration was part of Nvidia's message. Don't forget to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your input helps create a more knowledgeable community where we can all learn and grow together in the world of investing. Stay up to date with the latest market trends, insights, and key updates by subscribing to Investing Tutorial. We're here to help you make smarter investment decisions and stay ahead of the curve.
Christina Partsinevelos now for a look at Nvidia. That stock is falling in today's session, as we said at the very outset today, Christina.
Well, you have the company's powerhouse customers. We're talking Microsoft, AWS, Google, and Meta. They're reportedly hitting some snags with NVIDIA's latest Blackwell chips. They're dealing with overheating issues and glitches, and the information is reporting some might actually scale back their orders. Not great timing when these cloud giants are also racing to build their own AI supercomputers. HSBC just weighed in about a warning about supply challenges. They're saying these issues could drag on through early 2026, and they're skeptical about NVIDIA keeping up its impressive streak of beating revenue forecasts by $2 billion each quarter, which brings up the question of sustainability. And then there's another twist. Remember those new Biden administration rules about exporting AI chips? Well, analysts at Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Wedbush, they all think it might not actually stick. And here's why. There's an unusually long 120-day comment period, which means if Trump, once his administration goes forward, they could potentially revise these restrictions. Right now, about 15% of NVIDIA's total revenue is exposed to China, but that portion has declined just over the last few quarters. Yes, it's a little bit higher compared to Q2, but they have said it's declining. So between those technical hiccups, the supply chain constraints, and regulatory uncertainty, NVIDIA's definitely got quite a few balls in the air right now, and that's why the stock is down 2.5%.
Finkel stated, "America wins through innovation, competition, and sharing our technologies with the world, not by retreating behind a wall of government overreach as the first Trump administration demonstrated. We anticipate a return to policies that maintain our competitive edge in AI and beyond, support our economy, and enhance American leadership." Vivek Arya, an analyst at Bank of America, reaffirmed his buy recommendation on NVIDIA stock in a letter to investors early on Monday, but he added that the stricter export regulation muddies the waters for the AI chipmaker. Although the announcement was not particularly shocking, Atif Malik, a Citi analyst, stated that NVIDIA's sales of GPUs for data centers, which account for the great bulk of the company's revenue, are at risk due to the new 50,000 GPU export cap on 120 nations. The decline in NVIDIA stock. In anticipation of the revised export controls, shares fell 3% on Friday, and Monday continues that loss. Over the last 5 sessions, it has now dropped by about 9%. Concerns over Blackwell's supply chain, which HSBC says could remain an overhang until the first half of the company's fiscal year 2026, led the bank to reduce its price objective on NVIDIA shares from $195 to $185. This move also put pressure on the stock. We're quite concerned that a policy change of this scope and significance is being hurried out the door days before a presidential transition, and without any significant industry participation, the Semiconductor Industry Association said Monday, echoing Nvidia's reaction to the rule.